Yeah, just breathe. Take some inhalations, the in breath through your nose. Oh, letting go with out breath, letting go of the day, any responsibilities, just being lifted up to the sky. And with this next breath, just sending a grounding cord down, down into Pachamama, Mother Earth, with loving gratitude and just welcoming a connection to Pachamama to hold our container for the evening. Breathing in that support all the way up, up, up with the next couple of breaths through our feet, legs, spine, all the way up and out the crown of our head. And with this next breath, this next inhalation, just inviting the energy of the sky, the stars, the moon, connection to the cosmos, and inviting all this luminosity to circle around each of us, to circle around our space, and to connect each one of us. And just breathing this luminosity into our hearts, connecting to our wise inner light, and just exhaling that out into our space, out into our circle. Just gratitude to be with you all this evening as we talk a little bit about the magical landscape of Peru, and the Peruvian lineage in preparation a year from now. And slowly coming back in your own time, at your own pace. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if I can figure this out. And I'm going to start the slideshow. So, welcome everyone. I'm really excited to be speaking with you this evening. A year from now, I'll be leading a group of amazing individuals to Peru in collaboration with Willka T'ika. And I must admit, I wasn't planning on a retreat to Peru. The opportunity presented itself. And once I learned about Willka T'ika and their vision, it was an opportunity that I couldn't say no to. I had done a retreat in Mexico last year and was on the fence about doing another one. And life was really busy. And I just decided to say yes after speaking with Willka T'ika. And we'll have a wonderful opportunity to hear from them at the end. And when I think of Peru, I think of sacred illumination. So that's why I'm calling this retreat Sacred Illumination. I've traveled to Peru 3 times. The first time I was there for a couple of months, and that was more adventure travel in my mid-20s. And then the next 2 trips were both pilgrimages that were very powerful for me. So I never imagined I'd be leading a trip there, but there's no time like the present. So intention, I'm all about creating an intention for healing work. And so my intention, if I could create one for the group, would be illumination. And I think of illumination as a way of defining our inner light, our own true self, that spark of cosmic consciousness that lives within us, that we need spiritual nourishment to be able to catalyze on a daily basis. Because let's face it, life in the West can end up being just to-do list after to-do list. And so we can get disconnected from our true self. And so that's why I love traveling and going to sacred landscapes, because it really enables us to tap into that divine inner wisdom. So this is also called the self, the higher self. In Buddhism, it's the natural state. our core essence. And this is our most powerful resource for healing when we're doing deep work, and also when we're engaging creatively, when we want to create something. I really believe that our life's work is to be able to live from the place of our true self and to become fully embodied as we do so. I wanted to honor the lineage that we will be connecting with when we go to Peru, the Q'ero. These are the descendants of the Inca, and they will create our spiritual backdrop for us. So Peru has an intact spiritual tradition that is living and breathing, and that's what makes it such a powerful place to visit and to sit in ceremony. Right in this image, you'll see the shaman blowing prayers into coca leaves. So all the prayers are blown into coca leaves when you participate in a despacho ceremony. And despacho ceremonies are done to remain in Aini or right relationship with Pachamama, so that at the heart of the Q'ero cosmology is this deep, loving, and intimate reciprocal relationship with Mother Earth or with Pachamama. So if we had more people living in this way, our world would not be in the state that it's in currently. So this is a gorgeous backdrop of the Sacred Valley. I wanted to share a little bit about Aini, which is this idea of reciprocity, and it's the guiding principle of the Q'ero cosmology. When we are in harmony with nature, our lives can flow because we honor and respect that we are in a constant energy exchange. We aren't using the earth, we are exchanging with Mother Earth, with Pachamama. It enabled the Q'ero to survive in a harsh climate, and it's with the despacho ceremony that this belief is honored and respected. And a little bit more about the sacred prayer bundle. Here we've got some images. One of the images is from Willka T'ika. In the upper right, you see the coca leaves, which if you engage in a despacho ceremony in the United States, they use bay leaves instead of the coca leaves because we can't have coca leaves in the US, unfortunately. And what you see happening with the despacho, it's like the way to describe it is a sacred prayer bundle. So there's a foundation that gets laid out that honors the organizing principles of the universe, honors Pachamama, and then the kintus are placed in a circle, layer by layer, and it creates a powerful vortex of spiritual energy. And we'll have the wonderful opportunity to participate in a despacho ceremony at Willka T'ika, and the despacho, I believe, will be burned in a fire ceremony. So once the prayers are put in, it gets bundled up in a specific way, and people are blessed with the despacho, and then it gets released into one of the elements. And prayers are generally done without a specific attachment or an outcome, but when these despachos are created, it just helps to enhance the flow of energy, the energy exchange with Mother Earth. So an IU is a community. So in our community container, I have a vision of what I'd like to create. So I don't have specific timestamps because each day will be a little bit different when we're there. But I'd like to start the day, I'd like to guide some morning breathing and meditation. Then we'll have time for breakfast together, and then we'll either be doing an excursion, a local hike, or have opportunities for self-care and spa treatments. I like to offer daily group check-ins and healing circles, and the healing circles will be tailored to the group. If we have people that come with an intention or they want to do a specific healing that they're looking for support with, I will tailor the work to the group that we're with. It can include shamanic journeys, energy healing lessons, some sound healing, and perhaps some constellation work, if appropriate. And then I will say some people might be interested in more alone time or just taking in Peru and learning, have a learning experience. So the degree to which you participate in will be, flexible up to you. We'll definitely be participating in sacred ceremonies, as I mentioned, the despacho ceremony, and people can opt to also receive coca leaf divination if they're interested in that opportunity. And I think that there's also cacao ceremonies at Willka T'ika if people are interested in that. We will be visiting ancient ruins when we're there. We cannot go to Peru and not go to Machu Picchu. So we'll be going to Machu Picchu, Ollantaytambo, and Sacsayhuaman. We'll also be going to the Pisac ruins. And there's something potent that happens when you are immersed in ancient ruins. You step outside of time, and I believe all of us have codes for ancient wisdom tucked away, buried deep in our bones. And when you visit these sacred places, an attunement happens, and it will unfold over the course of your lifetime. So I really believe in sacred travel for spiritual growth, for deep healing. When we have so many responsibilities in our 3D encumbered life, it's hard to kind of step outside of the box and make a shift or attend to things that are kind of buried in the subconscious. It's getting us out of our day-to-day ritual or day-to-day routine and stepping into ritual and stepping into sacred landscapes that reminds us of who we are at a cell level, at a soul level. And then there'll be plenty of time for self-care. Meditate in the gardens. You can do a solar-powered flower bath at Willka T'ika. I'm definitely going to be signing up for at least one of those. We'll be staying in just gorgeous accommodations. And then we'll be offered and eating delicious organic farm-to-table vegetarian cuisine while we're there. And then this is our last slide, which is a beautiful photoscape of Willka T'ika. And with that, I'll stop the share. And I would just invite Terry to take it away. Let me unmute you. We're so fortunate to have Terry with us. He's a facilitator at Willka T'ika, and you've been working there for how long? You're intimately connected.
Well, intimately, yes. The founder of Willka T'ika is my mother, Carol. And Carol moved to Peru 30 years ago when she was about the age that I am now and started building and gardening. And so the result of that was the first luxury yoga center in Peru and one of the largest wellness centers in Peru. We focus mainly on wellness and healing groups, so your group will be very welcome here. We have 7 chakra gardens, as you might have seen in the photos. By the way, beautiful presentation, Marie. And
Oh, thank you.
if you ever wanted a second job, you can come here and do marketing for us.
I might take you up on that.
Okay, it's a beautiful presentation, and you're obviously very well versed in proving cosmology, Andean cosmology, with all the references to Aini and Ayu, and the Pacos and Don Benito and his people from Keros. So I could talk a little bit about that if you want, but basically, just as an intro, we've been here for 30 years. We focus on special interest wellness groups, and we have a staff of 22 Quechua people. They're all from this neighborhood, which is called Rumichaca in Quechua. That means Bridge of Stone. It's in the middle of the Sacred Valley. We have the mountains on both sides. We have the river, the Urubamba River, which flows down to Machu Picchu, just down the road. The closest town is the town of Urubamba, which is a small town of maybe 7,000 people. We were just there right now running errands, so we got back just in time. And yeah, we're very excited to have you here in a year. And I know a year seems like a long time, but it will go fast. So I'm glad that you're meeting now and starting to think about your intentions and what you want to get out of this trip and taking advantage of the wonderful healing work that Dr. Marie does. So I can obviously talk about anything. I've been here for full time for 8 years. I've been coming here since the very beginning. When my mother moved here, we all came with her and we thought she was crazy. We still do think she's a little crazy, but she's here with us and she's retired now. And so my wife, Tristan, and I run the facility with, again, the help of 22 Quechua people who are amazing. And I think they're probably what make us the most special are the people that live and work here, not just because of who they are and their belief system, which Marie talked a little bit about, but just because they literally built this property with their own hands. So they feel incredibly proud, and they have a sense of ownership, which translates into amazing service and love and heart-opening, welcoming. So you'll see that when you get here, and you'll probably see a little bit of it in the photos and the videos. What would you like me to talk about, Maria? I can ramble forever, so tell me what would be most interesting or useful for you.
I think I would open up for questions. Does anyone
Sure.
have a question about the Willka T'ika, what to expect, or no?
Like, do I have to train for a year to go on this hike?
Well, it
Like,
depends. I
can I
haven't looked at
handle
your
it?
itinerary. What hike are you doing?
I'm not sure. I mean, just to see Machu Picchu
Yeah,
itself.
that's a good question. A lot of people think Machu Picchu is really high. It's actually the lowest place you'll be besides Lima when you're here. So you'll fly into Cusco, which is 11,400 feet. So that's going to be the highest place you go. And that first night in Cusco, you'll be acclimating and you'll feel the altitude for sure. For most people, it's a little bit challenging, but not an issue. For people who have high blood pressure or are really sensitive to altitude, you might want to consider Diamox or acetazolamide, which can be helpful if you're doing trekking or if you're sensitive. But most people, I'd say, you know, 4 out of 5 people don't even notice it. 1 out of 5 has a tough time. And then they'll always get people who get a little bit of mountain sickness. But the good news is that you're going to be spending most of your time in the valley, which is at 9,400 feet. So that's lower than most ski resorts, at least the top of the ski resort. And so it's pretty comfortable here. You'll still feel it a little bit when you're doing yoga or hiking around. You'll notice the breath changing, and that's a really good opportunity to focus on your breathing and mindfulness. And so we do a lot of that here. And then when you go to Machu Picchu, you're actually going to be going down river, that Urubamba River I mentioned that you saw in the photo with the rainbow over it. If you were to ride that river down about an hour or two, you'd get to Machu Picchu, and that's at 8,400 feet. So that'll actually be the easiest acclimatation for you. So no, you don't have to train. It's always nice to be fit because we do try to be active. You will be moving around and walking a lot, and so the more fit you are, the better. And a year, give yourself, that's a great excuse to get in shape. You will get in shape while you're here. Again, the food is vegetarian, organic, and really healthy. So you will feel very healthy when you come home, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't get healthy before you get here. I'm happy to answer questions. If not, I can also just talk about what a general week program looks like, just to kind of walk you through that if you like.
That sounds great, Terry.
Yeah, so the typical 7 or 8 day program, depending on each leader, it's a little different, and there's always room for the leader to customize what she wants to do and her programming. We have time for that every day. But your program is a full week, even a little bit longer, and you will get to basically see the key Incan sacred sites in the valley, starting with Cusco, which is the original capital of the Incan Empire. Goes back long, before the Spanish arrived. That was where the Incans centered their empire. So all the most beautiful museums and architecture and ruins are around that area. It's also a fairly big city, so there's a lot to do and see. It's a beautiful architecture. You'll go out for a local restaurant there. You'll get to try some of the Peruvian delicacies that you've probably heard about or read about. Peru is known for its food, especially the last 10 years. Some of the world's best chefs and the best restaurants are here, mostly in Lima. And I'll just stop to say a couple words about Lima. Those of you who want to extend your trip and you want to spend more time in Lima before or after, it's not a must-see. Lima is not a very pretty city, but it is a great culinary capital. So if you're a foodie and you can take an extra day or two, I would recommend adding that at the end of your trip, because the way the flights work, usually you fly out of Lima late at night and you fly out of Cusco back to Lima in the morning. So you generally have a day at the end anyway, which is enough for most people. But generally, we encourage people to get to the Sacred Valley sooner and see the sites that are here, because they're really why you're coming to Peru. You can see big cities and good restaurants anywhere. But here, you'll start in Cusco for that first 2 days. Then you'll come to the Sacred Valley, which is about an hour-and-a-half drive, a beautiful drive kind of up over the plateau, down into the valley. You'll see the Andes. You'll see some amazing 18,000-foot glaciers that we call apus. I don't know if that was in your presentation, but apus are the sacred deities or the mountain spirits that are very much a part of the Andean cosmology. And so we have a few apus right around us. There's one called Salcantay that's especially famous, and sacred. There's one called Al Songati, which is the second highest mountain in South America or in Peru. And there's a few right around where we live in the valley. So you'll see the mountains, you'll come into the Sacred Valley, you'll come to Willka T'ika and meet the staff, meet our dogs, meet my mother. She'll probably give you a very long garden tour and show you the 7 chakra gardens and how she built them. And then you'll have a meal, you do your own programming, which could be, you know, whatever healing workshops Marie has organized for you. Could be yoga, could be both. And then you will start the next day with the sacred despacho or ceremony that Marie was talking about, that's led by our Paco, Don Benito. And because you mentioned this, I'll say a few words about him. He's a very special man. He's been coming here for over 25 years, and he comes from the community of Keros. And this community is a community which we actually visit quite a bit because we support Keros through our Willka T'ika Children's Fund. We help them build a school, we help them build their greenhouse, and we donate a lot of food and clothing to them. We're actually going on September 20th to bring more supplies. So Don Benito comes all the way here from Keros once a month just to meet with our groups. So it's a very special event. He will spend the day with us. He will do a Pago la Tierra, which is an offering to the earth or to Pachamama. There will be a fire ceremony, as Marie mentioned. So the offering is prepared in the afternoon by each of you. You will take your cocoa blessing, which you saw the photo of the 3 cocoa leaves. You'll do your own blessing and put that in the offering, and he will present a beautiful offering. And then you'll burn that with the fire ceremony. So that'll be your first day. And you also have a chance to do a blessing with him. Sometimes you can do a cocoa leaf reading, which is when they basically give you kind of a fortune, looking at the cocoa leaves and telling you about your life. You will have the fire ceremony in the evening. And then the next day, usually we go to the school. We have a mountain school that we support, not in Keros, because that would take you 2 days to get to. But there's a school here that takes a couple hours, and it's a beautiful school, a primary school of 70 kids that we support. So you'll get to spend time with the children. If you want to bring things for them, we can give you a list of what they need. Usually it's school supplies or even some clothes. We always bring them fruit, and we actually have a woman that cooks for them and help them grow vegetables. So that'll be a highlight of the trip, seeing the children. They're really beautiful. And then after that, you'll come down to Pisac, which is a famous market town with an incredible market where you can get all your shopping out of the way. Buy Andean crafts, woolen goods, alpaca scarves, blankets, hats like this one I'm wearing now, which I got in Pisac. It's an alpaca wool hat. Highly recommend it. And then great place to get your gifts and get your Christmas presents early, since you'll be here in September. And then you'll have a picnic lunch, and then come back to Willka T'ika. That'll be a long day because you'll be at even higher elevation. You're actually going to go up to Pisac, which is a little higher than where we are, and then the community is even higher. So you'll actually be at 13,000 feet that day. That's a good point to mention, that Cusco is not the highest place you'll be. I have to correct myself. You'll be at close to 13,000 feet, but only for an hour. So usually people don't have any issues because they're only there for an hour, and you come back down. You'll walk around the Pisac ruins and market and come back. And then usually on Wednesday, we go to Machu Picchu. That's a full day also. You'll take a beautiful train through the valley, down the river till you get to Machu Picchu, which is semi-tropical. So as you go downriver, things get warmer and more tropical. You'll start to see orchids and bromeliads, and the weather changes, and you'll be in the coffee area, the cocoa area where coca is grown, where the fruit comes from. It's very different from the Andeans, even though it's only the Andean area where we live, even though it's only an hour and a half away. And of course, you'll see Machu Picchu, which is a highlight, a bucket list item, and a World Heritage Site. And you'll spend the full day there. And then you'll take the train back, which is a nice place to take a nap if you're exhausted from walking the ruins. And then you'll have at least one day to go visit the town of Ollantaytambo, which is another ruin that was never destroyed by the Spaniards. So it's a very well preserved ruin with a beautiful town and a market and fun places to eat and have coffee. And you'll have a free day to just hang out at Willka T'ika, do the flower bath that Marie mentioned. We have 4 amazing massage therapists. We have a crystal bed treatment room that you can do. That'll keep you busy for at least one day. And then there's an optional day to go to Urubamba, where there's a ceramic studio. You can also spend that day at Willka T'ika if you prefer to relax and journal, sit in the gardens, or you can walk to town and do more shopping and see the ceramics. If you need to eat meat, you can do that in town. We won't judge you. But at Willka T'ika, you'll be eating vegetarian food every day, which no one complains about. It's delicious food. It's homegrown. It's very tasty. and very nutritious. And we even have a vegan chef who does special recipes and for vegan and gluten-free people. So that's a nutshell. There are other surprises along the way, and I know Marie has her own programming planned, but that's just a snapshot of what you'll get to experience in 1 week here in the Sacred Valley.
Wow, it sounds amazing. I can't wait. I really look
I have a
forward.
question.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. I am curious, like how many people are usually at the property, and you have all this, the outdoor spaces all sound amazing, like the chakra gardens and different spots. Is it easy to kind of like, I don't know, find some privacy or solitude or kind of like tuck away into a nook, or are there sort of people wandering around at all times? Not
No,
to
the
sound like a
garden,
hermit, but
no, the gardens are designed for privacy, and so are the rooms. And so every room has its own entrance. Every room is unique and has its own art and style. So you'll feel very private in your own room. There won't be anyone, banging on the doors next to you. When you go out the gardens, there are 7 different gardens. Some of them are hidden. There are several different ceremonial rooms. There are 2 yoga shalas. There's a library. There's a meditation room, and we now have 2 dining rooms. So even if we have 2 groups, which isn't that common, but in September, that is our kind of busy time. So we might have 2 groups here. One group will have its own dining room. The other group will have their own dining room. And so some groups, with yoga and wellness groups, you never know. Sometimes you get a group that wants to have meals in silence. And sometimes you get a group that wants to drink pisco sours. And just by looking at the dozen of you, half dozen of you, I can't tell if you're a pisco sour group or a eat in silence group. And I never know until you get here. So the way we deal with that is by having a separate dining room so groups have their own space. Yeah, it's very rare that we would be full. We're not like a hotel that tries to fill its rooms. We try to have 1 or 2 groups very well contained and with a lot of privacy and intimacy in their own yoga room and their own dining room. So you'll have plenty of space. How many people are you hoping to have?
Oh my gosh, I would love to have 11 people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's a
magic
great
number.
place.
hmm
hmm
I think you
Yeah.
have a minimum of 5 or something, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, you want to get 10, and that's usually the goal. And then,
Yeah.
if you get more, great. But 10 is a wonderful group, and you'll feel very well taken care of.
So, well, thank you so much, Terry. I don't know if you have
You.
to get off to dinner. I was going to do
No,
a
they were
sound
just
off.
calling me. They were just calling me for dinner. So if
Yeah.
you don't need me, I will sneak off. But I'm always an email away,
Okay.
and we're always posting on social media. So thanks for doing that, and we will keep updated on newsletters, social media updates, and our website blog. So you can always hear what's going on with us.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining. It was really helpful, and I can't wait to go to Willka T'ika next year.
So we'll see you in a year. Thank you all. Nice to see you all.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
All right. So I am going to pause my video for a second because I have to switch locations to do the sound portion of the event. So bear with me. Okay. I also had a cat to tend to, so thank you for bearing with me. Get comfortable. You can lie down, you can be seated. I'm not using all of my equipment that I use for the monthly sound healing because I wasn't sure how that would all work with the slideshow, but this should work just fine. So you guys are muted. Put the original sound on. Great. So just take some breaths, you guys. Just get comfortable. And making any movements as you connect with your physical body. Just say hello. Say hello to your body. What are you noticing? Is there energy that you need to reclaim tonight? Could you use some resourcing and replenishment? Just knowing that you can receive with the in-breath through your pores into your chakras. And you can let go with the exhalation, with the out-breath. Just connecting with Pachamama, with Mother Earth. Inviting a warm, loving, powerful connection to fill your space. Fill your body, to anchor your bones, to bring safety, to bring connection, to bring a sacred witness. Refilling, refueling. Drawing in that loving connection, that healing power into your room, into your body. Letting go of what no longer serves. Old beliefs. Slowly become aware of your breathing in this moment in time. Taking your time, wiggling fingers and toes. There's no rush. Cozy up and go to bed early. Sign off if you want to stay relaxed. It's reconnecting to your physical body. Wishing you a cozy night. Thank you for joining. You're so welcome. Take care, you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.